Greetings, my fellow freedom, low sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning in to LO3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida, and today's date is Thursday, April 1st, 2021. And just along the new river of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, hanging out. Drawbridge is up, so you may hear some dinging in the background. And I'm still just laughing at all these luxurious pigeonholes being built around me. And they assume I'm an architect, I know about buildings and it won't sink. Well, we're not bedrock, we're marsh. Hey, swampy mangrove is self-explanatory. Buildings do sink here. But, you got folks believe they're smarter than everybody else and Mother Nature alone. And, I was wondering if a major hurricane will come through Fort Lauderdale. See how these buildings would react. Lord forbid. But all you newbies that come down here, you better prepare. You learn to prepare. Don't go panic. Go zombified somewhere else if you can't handle it. Well, yeah, I was reading an article by Western Journal that one criminal thug that assaulted a elderly woman who was Asian descent, 65 years old, he was 38, was convicted of murdering his own mother in front of his 5-year-old daughter. Ain't that nice? Oh yeah, ain't that sweet? Thank you, New York, the justice system of New York. I love New York. We can't do the criminals. I love New York. We punish the productive. We want to tax your ass for your own good. To be luxurious and you won't be understood. Sing it. I love New York, where self-defense is a crime. I gotta use sarcasm once in a while, but very chilling indeed, my friends. And whatever you do, like I said before in the past, fellow New Yorkers are coming down here, please make sure your affections are up back at the police state. Don't exercise it here, because you will be called out, especially by me. A man who's born in Brooklyn, lived down here for 44 years, I can make that statement. Yeah, so, but thereafter, there's some beautiful people up there as well, in the entire state itself. I'm not going to resent them, by any means. It's just a political perspective is a deception, just like everywhere else. You got to be vigilant towards these individuals. You got folks like, bureaucratic Bertha Henry, the chosen one, who represented Broward County, thinks this jurisdiction should revolve around her. I make $300,000 a year. I know what the hell I'm doing. Man. But you don't complain, you take action. So things are happening this month in April. April 10th, Million Masses March on the beach. I did post that a few times. And I posted that recently on my Spree League Gab, on MeWe, and One World Social accounts. Hopefully it goes through. And tired using Facebook. They need me more, I need them. And of course, you're going to have the Tax Day protest in downtown Fort Lauderdale at the courthouse from 3 to 6 p.m. There'll be speakers out there. So that'll be pretty cool. And I had this Patriot Day Bash as well, which I posted for a good friend of mine, Gabriel Carrera. Good man. It's interesting. I'll give him a lot of props because he's still learning a lot as well. He's a good individual. Can never say anything bad about him. And, we had our political disagreements, but we can still share information. So that's why I guess he always brought it to my phone and said, hey, Craig. He actually came to me on doing this MAGA rally. And, like I said before, MAGA movement, all that, how I am. I'm like, I have my disputes with Trump as well. But when they witch hunt, I gotta go. Nah, like don't address it in front of me. I'm not gonna. I just then I'll defend people on those areas. So it's like you said, if you're gonna be critical, have merit. Don't be a parrot. But yeah, so it's gonna be pretty nice. It's cloudy right now. Hopefully, up in the Northeast region, folks will be safe. I know they got a freeze warning in the Ohio Valley area, so be warm and be safe. Of course, April Fool's Day. Well, I'm not doing any April Fool's jokes right now. I'm just being straight up. So, yeah, okay, so I digressed enough. My little rant for a while. I get things off my chest. However, I would say, too, that I appreciate the folks out there and my neighbors, yeah. I love them all. Even the ones that don't want to talk to me, which is disappointing, because they condemn because we disagree, or sometimes people can't comprehend, or they be obtuse because they let passion supersede logic. And we all have those. Flaws, including myself. But always try to improve your well-being. And the first step is be neighborly. I chat with folks out there that don't talk to their neighbors. I'm like, you don't have to be their friends, for goodness sakes. Just talk to them and just be general. Respect each other, their space. It's not that hard. I don't want to hear this day and age crap either. No more of these piss poor excuses. Folks want to say I'm the oppressed. I'm a victim by ethnicity. Well, you don't have exclusivity, okay? Getting caught up in that mind control machine, all that stuff. And I hear about the news. I hear about the alternative news. Talking about this group are the devils and they're born racist, the whites. I'm like, just bust out laughing. I'm like, how pathetic is that? It's like saying the Negroes are animals. Like, come on. In a real egregious manner. Well, the whole thing is, folks, man is probably the most vicious animal on earth, historically speaking. But doesn't mean we have to implement that. We have the intellectual development. But, yeah, I'm just, like I said, a nice little breeze kicking in right now. So, all right, I did my rant long enough, so forgive me. I want to be actually talking about an interesting report from RepublicanStory.com. Major legal victory, mask mandates fails in the Supreme Court in Wisconsin. It's written by Emily Rose. As it reads, the state of Wisconsin Supreme Court in a 4-3 ruling struck down a mask mandate. 4-3? The majority decision states, in part, after receiving brief on these demands, we conclude that the state of emergency declared in Executive Order 105 exceeded the governor's powers and is thus unlawful. As a result, we declare that Executive Orders 82 and 90, both of which declare a public health emergency in response to COVID-19, were unconstitutional under statute 323.10. So, unconstitutional means illegal. According to NBC4, the majority opinion was written by Chief Justice Patience Ragensack. Justices Brian Hagedorn, Annette Ziegler, and Rebecca Bradley accompanied her. The dissenting opinion was written by Justice Ann Walsh Bradley, who was joined by Justice Rebecca Dellett and Jill Karski. The legal rationale is very optimistic. It didn't consider whether the masks were effective. A recent CDC study found that they were only marginally effective, rather than the acts were legal. Majority decision. The issue in this case is not whether the governor acted wisely. It is whether he acted unlawfully. We've come to the conclusion that he didn't. Since COVID-19 outbreak, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers has consistently renewed the mask mandate. The court's decision will not prevent municipal governments or corporations from enforcing mask laws, which is a separate legal issue. It is a long past time for the courts to restore the rule of law and uphold American civil rights. Although the COVID-19 pandemic continues, so does the Constitution. Texas Judge John Barker famously retorted earlier this year. When it comes to the unconstitutional executive orders, Wisconsin's decision demonstrates that a state court will uphold the rule that should have occurred from the start of the pandemic and certainly before the 2020 elections. And she is correct on that. So what I'm going to be reading Wisconsin Statute 323.1.10. And one moment here. Whoops, I made a mistake. I'm going to try to do something here one moment. Yeah, I made a mistake here. That's okay. All right, this is from the subchapter 2. Powers and duties related to emergency management. Here it is, 323.10. Declaration by governor. The governor may issue an executive order declaring a state of emergency for the state or any portion of the state if he or she determines that an emergency resulting from a disaster or imminent threat of a disaster exists. If the governor determines that a public health emergency exists, he or she may issue an executive order declaring the state of emergency related to the public health for the state or any portion of the state, and may designate the Department of Health Services as the lead state agency to respond to that emergency. If the governor determines that the emergency is related to a computer or telecommunication system, he or she may designate the Department of Administration as a lead agency to respond to that emergency. The state of emergency shall not exceed 60 days, unless the state of emergency is extended by joint resolution of the legislature. A copy of the executive order shall be filed with the Secretary of State. The executive order may be revoked at the discretion of either the governor by executive order or the legislator by joint resolution. So, looks like the great amount of members of legislators bellied up. Okay, boss. And that's very disturbing, disappointing. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them like, hey, Dissent. Say, hey, what are you doing? It's unnecessary. But the problem is they didn't join. They try to folks probably want to join forces to counter it, and they go, no, we can't do that. So they didn't have enough to challenge it, which is disturbing. This is how I'm looking at it. I could be wrong. And it's interesting about this too, because when you look at the Wisconsin Constitution, Article 1, Declaration of Rights, Section 1, equality, inherent rights. As it reads here, all people are born equally free and independent and have certain inherent rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted, deriving their just powers from consent of the governed. So it proves that you have natural rights. And of course, when it comes to slavery prohibited, there be neither slavery nor voluntary servitude in this state, otherwise then for the punishment of crime whereof the party shall have duly convicted. So, while the governor may be intentional or not, he's practicing. He actually breached those two sections, and even anyone else, Secretary of State or anyone else that supported this in an elected appointed position, have breached their oath of office, intentional or not. And so you have to always look at these angles. And unfortunately, I don't even know if they had any affirming civil rights resolutions in those certain counties in Wisconsin, because they could have challenged that as well with that, a la with the Patriot Act, counting the Patriot Act, which you could go a lot more further. But it's very, like I said before, it's always got to know your rights, okay? And of course, when we look at here, attainder, ex post facto contracts, no bill of attainder, ex post facto law, nor any law impairing the obligation contract shall ever be passed, and no conviction shall work a corruption of blood or forfeit of estate property for public use. So it's very disheartening. Of course, if they have places shut down, it violates their property rights under Section 15. No distinction shall ever be made law between residents, aliens, and citizens in the reference to possession, enjoyment, or descent of property. So you can throw that in there too. And like I said, it's very, very interesting here. And of course, maintenance of free government is Section 22. The blessing of a free government can only be maintained by a firm adherence to justice, moderation, temperance, frugality, and virtue, and by frequent recurrence to fundamental principles. So that made the governor and anyone else that were involved may contradict that as well. So it's good to know these documents. So I'm glad this happened. I'm glad. Like it's sad it had to go this far, but the results were positive. But 4-3 majority, it should have been 7-0. Period. So you got to question those justices as well if they are compromising their oath of office, and the people from that state, Badger State it's called, can petition them on this matter. But I like it. It's very good. I'm very pleased to hear about that. And every state, everyone was local, state, challenge these things. Okay. The more you know about your rights, the more you implement it or exercise it, the less you fear. They wig out over it. Don't treat them any different. They work for you. They serve. You're the boss, not them. It's like in the unions, labor unions. They call the business agent or president, or a local union president, the boss. These knucklehead newspapers. No, the members are the boss. You are the oversight. So yes, I am very pleased to read about this, and keep fighting for what's right, folks. Always avoid synthetic movements and paper activists. Be organic. And that will be it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share us throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or interested, you want to check out whatever you do, please send your correspondence from the core. Furthermore, I'll leave the footnote of these articles on my Spreaker page. And if you want to email me, you can hit me at LookYouLuck03@protonmail.com. If you want to do a donation, you can hit me at paypal.me or cash.app/LookYouLuck3. If you want to support Republican Story, do some donations. That would be great. We're here to spread the truth the best we can. We're inspired, not hired. Many of us fighting for liberty, which is freedom plus morality. Once again, thank you for your time. Please always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.